It's gonna sit here until my shit's ready.
This shit ain't ready.
The shit ain't ready.
This shit ain't ready.
I've got 15 more flubbing ding dong minutes. Beauty's truth. Truth, beauty, star. There was another alien, 1990 something, late 90s. Was the Phoenix Lights
In Arizona?
Mm-hmm. And the whole city was out there, whatever, for 2 hours watching something that nobody could comprehend. And so the council members of Phoenix wanted answers. They're like, what was this? You know, everybody's freaking out. They clogged the 911 lines. And then the governor, like, gaslighted everybody. He had a press conference. He's like, you know, we have one. We got one. We got an alien or whatever. And then they had, like, his friend come out in a fucking
What a
costume.
fucking joke.
And people were furious. They're like, you're going to fucking make fun of us? Like, we just want answers. And now you're just going to ridicule us. And it's like, yeah, that's what the government does. The more crazy you look, the better. Look, we got the VIPs. We got Magic.
Let's go toasty.
Toasty.
Let's get toasted.
We've got our resident Frenchman, Minaru.
Minaru. Bonjour.
Minaru, where in
Ça va bien?
France do you live? And I'm guessing you guys can hear us. Can you hear us? Please say yes.
Minaru.
For the love of God, please say yes. Okay, good.
Pouvez-vous nous entendre maintenant? Ode on aggression.
I will change the GoPro angle when the camera is ready. Beauty is truth, truth, beauty, sir.
One of my favorite Simpsons quotes: when Lisa wants to attend a military academy alongside her brother, who is sent there for punitive reasons, but she realizes that their rigorous curriculum is exactly what she wants to be challenged.
It is exactly what she wants?
Yes.
What season is this?
It couldn't have been beyond season 11.
Okay, perfect. So that was also the era that I was watching.
Yeah, I've seen only a handful of the ones past that, because when we were in Costa Rica during the rainy season, we watched a lot of Simpsons episodes while we were doing a giant jigsaw puzzle, and they were the later seasons. But yeah, let's see.
We have 14 more minutes. Sorry, guys.
Lisa Military Academy. Simpsons. The Secret War of Lisa Simpson. 1997. It's season 8.
It'd be fun to do watch parties with the Discord.
Dude, that'd be so fun. I didn't know Willem Dafoe was in that episode as the commandant. I love Willem Dafoe. I think he's one of the best actors that's ever existed.
They were so good at sneaking people in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
I loved when Patrick Stewart was the head of the Stonecutters. It was the best. Makes me want to go watch Star Trek: The Next Jenny.
Are we there yet? 12 minutes.
Here's the plot of that episode if you wanted to know. After a day of watching mind-numbing videos in class, Lisa worries that her education is not challenging enough. Bart's class goes on a field trip to the Springfield Police Department, where Bart finds a room with several megaphones. By placing them all end to end and speaking,
he just turns them on, and then he's
like, test! He amplifies his voice enough to create a sonic shockwave that shatters all the glass in Springfield. Chief Wiggum suggests sending Bart to military school to correct his behavior. Under the ruse, they are going to Disneyland. Homer and Marge drive the kids to Rommel Wood Military School. While visiting a poetry class, Lisa decides to enroll as well in order to experience the challenge she seeks. She's the school's first female cadet. And she endures a lot of hazing. Oh, Lisa. Lisa was always my rock. Because she's so smart. She's in Mensa, for God's sake.
11 more minutes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11, 11, 11.
What's everybody up to right now? Y'all at work? Magic's not at work.
Magic, is it raining?
Monaro can walk 700 meters to Paris.
What the fuck is a meter?
Yeah, what the fuck is a meter, Monaro?
That's great. Last night I watched Amélie.
You did?
Mm-hmm. It takes place in Paris.
Oh, we know what it is, Nick. We're just trying to be funny. But we're ladies, so we can't be funny. Gray's at school. What are you learning about?
Ooh, what'd you learn?
Butt stuff? Stupid. I am mentally exhausted from my fucking. I had
Gauntlet.
the worst motorcycle trip, the most stressful motorcycle trip I've ever been on. Who would have thought that going out to Mojave, the most dangerous aspect was riding back to LA?
Yikes. Well, isn't there a movie starring Kurt Russell called Escape from LA?
Dude, LA. I want to take a poop on LA.
Los Angeles.
I've got beef with LA.
Well, the traffic in LA is one of its worst components, right? Is that what made it so bad?
The drivers are so wildly unpredictable and so aggressive and passive aggressive. I've never been cut off so much in my life. I also had somebody almost crash into me a block away from the Harley Fleet Center. And I was sitting in front of him at a red light. I wasn't fully in the lane because there wasn't enough room. Mm-hmm. We were sitting at a red light for a while. Mm-hmm. The light turns green. He starts slamming on his horn. He misses me by like an inch.
Like to drive around you?
He just almost I don't know. I'm like, dude, I was here the whole time. I don't know why suddenly this is like, you're upset.
So unsafe.
But the most beautiful thing happened. The cop behind him immediately pulled him over.
Oh, hell yeah. Let's go.
Like, fuck you, dude. Bye.
What the hell?
Because the cop was sitting at the light too. So he saw the whole thing. Because I was like, wait, am I going to get pulled over for not? I was like, I didn't really do anything. I just wasn't in the lane all the way. But no. I got to put my hair up. Otherwise it's going to bother me. 8 more minutes. Then we can turn
Ocho.
turn
Ocho Loco. Did you guys ever drink 2 Four Locos and call it Ocho Loco?
I never had Four Loco.
Oh, really?
Wait, did you?
Yes.
It's just like a...
You're better off.
Energy
not
beer
having
drink,
it.
Right?
It's malt liquor.
Oh.
It was insane. I had it when it first came out and it still had real caffeine in it. It was just like...
It was cocaine for kids.
My boyfriend at the time had 2 of them. He did the Ocho Loco thing, and I had to like sit up with him all night because he was like, his heart was going too fast, and he was also just like sleepy. He was like, I'm so uncomfortable. I'm like, yeah, you shouldn't drink this. But I don't know.
You know, if they just legalized drugs, we wouldn't be making...
Do you think a lot of people would die at first?
Synthetic ways. I'm sure the trajectory of legalizing drugs. Well, but we wouldn't be the first country to do that. I think we'd have to...
But aren't we the wackiest country?
We are the wackiest. We have the most cutoff and separation from our ancestors
aren't we the most, like,
and our elders.
Do anything country.
And light it on fire.
We've got the pioneer spirit, but it's also like fucking xenophobic pioneer spirit.
Violent.
It's like, I'm new here. I don't like anything else that's new.
Portugal, there's also a country in Europe that legalized it because of their heroin problem.
Was it Northern Europe?
I'm trying to remember.
Seems like something Denmark would do.
Seems like something that I should know more about. But imagine just going to Walgreens.
What would you pick up?
Me? Nothing, probably. I mean, it'd be nice to get when I have done MDMA sessions for friends and family, I would prefer to have the pharmaceutical grade. I don't like handing over something that I don't. I got a testing kit to make sure that there weren't amphetamines in it, but other than that, it's like I just want to know I'm going to give something safe.
Yeah, I think that's a huge thing with the proliferation of fentanyl
Yeah.
in our country. That's killing a lot of people.
The morgues are stocked in New England, or they were. I don't know how it's going now. I'm sure it's not any better.
Dude, my mom had her dog euthanized because she was very old and sick, and it cost $443 to have her cremated.
Yeah.
Why can't we just give her a Viking funeral and like set her on fire ourselves? Because if everybody was doing that, there'd be a lot of pollution or something. It'd be like the Ganges, where dead bodies and like garbage are proliferating.
Everybody's got to make a buck, you know?
Yeah, I feel like the legalization of all drugs would require the establishment of tons of bureaucracy and industries and like manufacturing and testing and like new branches to the FDA and stuff. It would be crazy. You would need so much more infrastructure to manage that instead of just putting people in prison when they are caught with it.
Yeah, obviously you need to put violent criminals in prison. But drug use is just fucking
Butt drug?
Butt drugs. Butt drug use is just fucking hilarious. How many more minutes we got? 5 minutes.
5 minutes until what?
Until I can use the SD card because I've lost every SD card known to man.
Whitney's birthday is on May 22nd. She's going to be a 34-year-old woman, and we're going to make her a cake. But don't tell her that.
I knew it was happening. 4 minutes.
But you don't know what the cake is going to be like yet, right?
No. Let me go put my hair up.
Do you want me to braid it into 100 braids?
Yes, please.
Speed braid. I like braids. This is weird because I feel like you guys can see me, but I can't see you. Because your chat is on Whitney's computer and it's not facing me. So if y'all are saying anything, then I can't see it. Look, it's 11/24. That's my birthday. November 24th. 1998, if you wanted to know. Now I'm just freaked out because I can't see what you're saying. Talking to the butt. Talking to the butt. What's up? Your hair looks great. I could have told you that.
I thought it was going to bother me more. 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
Until liftoff?
Until liftoff. Leaf off.
Yesterday I bought myself a nice little bottle of wine.
Nice.
And the lady who was checking my ID, she was like, "Oh, 11/24, that's my birthday." And I was like, "Oh man, yeah, were you born on Thanksgiving?" And she was like, "Oh, no, 11/24/2001." And I was like, "Oh, fuck, dude. That's fucking different from when I was born." Fuck, dude. But I don't feel old.
I don't think you're old until you're 75.
And even then, you've got 25 years left to go.
Megan was not born in 98.
Who thinks that?
I don't know. I'm behind. Ben Asler, you're not old. I'm going to say old is 80 or older.
Confirmed.
Megan was born in 88, y'all.
Year of the Dragon. Bruce Lee.
Year of the
Ever heard of
Dragon.
him? Come on. He was born in 1940. Let's go.
I was born in 89 when the Ford Toyoris.
Toyortis.
Constellation.
Zoo, zoo, zoo.
Right.
You want to see my back pricks?
Yeah. They gnar?
Not totally, nah.
It looks like everything made you.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand at all. I want to write a treatise on the underappreciated qualities of literacy.
The treatise? Did you buy this?
No, a treatise.
A treatise?
Yes. My dad had dyslexia and he would say, even though treatise is Treatise, he would call it a treatsy. Oh man, take a look at my life. They are with you today, young one.
They were with me all weekend, man. Dude, I woke up the first night in the hotel and there was something in there. There was a presence.
In your own hotel?
Yes. I was like, I can't tell if it's mad or if it's on guard, but I was just like,
Oh, it was like very stern.
Yes. Yeah. And
Didn't you
shit,
say
I'm in the
that
desert.
Damien Eccles said the angels are like really terrifying?
Yeah, he said they won't even show their real self because they're so scary.
Because we would die from how scary they are.
Yeah.
I guess we were created to be so sensitive so we can experience the whole range of feelings. But sometimes it sucks to be so squishy and sensitive.
I don't think we've also realized our own psychic power, like at all. I think we're so far from that because we're so obsessed with technology and just crap.
Chords. Strings.
Strings. All right. Finally. I also had the hilarious notion that I was going to get so much
footage.
I was going to get so much editing done.
On your trip?
So much editing done. Oh my god, it's going to be so amazing. Fucking hilarious.
Can we put this over here? Any bats in the cave?
Yeah, does it reach?
Just barely. Can you scooch this a little forward?
Yeah, let's scooch it forward.
We don't have any dags.
No dags.
Do you have double-sided tape? Have we used that before? I tried to infiltrate her brain with a 311 song, but it didn't take.
Why is it this? What do you mean f-stop is 0?
That is an unacceptable answer. I will not accept any answer. I'm getting my hair cut today. Every single one of my hairs will be cut. I think my goal will be to cut off most of the scritchy scratchy blonde. So.
Oh, my camera's not working. Uh-oh. Dude, there's something going on.
Well, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I thought turning it off and turning it back on might be the
Well,
trick.
I did that and it didn't do anything, so I took the lens off. Oh, that's scary.
Whitney's been developing her psychic powers, but she's also been trying to develop her technological prowess as well. And I'd say she's pretty successful. Fujifilm, suck it. Step across your labyrinth of chords.
All this shit.
Say the Mawpod prayer to open us up. The brain slew slick with ectoplasmic juice. Ecstatic energy, a fire that fuels our memory. I need TP for my bunghole. I have no bunghole. Are you threatening me? Are you threatening me?
All right. Let's fucking get this show on the fucking road.
7 hours later. Turn it just a little bit.
Turn what just a little bit?
The dick cam.
This cam?
Yeah.
I can't.
That looks good. That's better. Ecstatic energy, a fire that fuels our memory. Yeah, I've worked for NASA for about 35 years now, and I'd say it's a pretty good pension program for my family. Everybody who has worked for NASA gets to be buried in space. So, 60 years from now, you look up in the sky and see my corpse's remains twinkling in the daylight. Ohio gozaimasu. Nomine Patri et Filii Spiritus
3,
Sancti.
2, 1.
Shuck it.
Suck it. We are rolling. Hello.
Hello, motherfuckers.
Hi guys. I got in late last night. But that don't mean that we stop podding.
Never stop podding.
We never stop podding.
Never stop podding.
Hi Riley.
Aww.
What is happening, Riley?
Hello.
How was your day at daycare? School? Daycare?
Dude, I remember once I was at daycare and this lady stole one of my books.
You went to daycare?
Yeah, when I lived in DC, my Aunt Carol and Uncle Steve went to work, and
How old were you?
I was in first grade. But we had these cool encyclopedia books of like things for kids to like learn and do and activities and stuff. And I brought one of them in to like share with the lady who did the daycare, and she just kept it. She never gave it back.
Why?
Because I was a kid.
My levels are really low.
Hello?
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 She stole my book.
a righteous bee.
But, you know, hopefully she used it to entertain a bunch of kids for years and years after that. So, to the kids.
Oh, Next wants to know if this is a cooking channel. Megan, aka Rubbish Cook, is passionate about turning. How would you describe your cooking?
So what I am doing is taking what is seen as maybe you throw it away, or maybe it's not the best foods that you can have, but then you use your skill, you use your creativity and your imagination to transform it in an alchemical way into something that is gold. So it's cooking, but it's like cooking from the hip to feed the heart. So suck it.
Next has been sharing photos of his culinary journey.
Oh,
So I don't. You gotta
on the
hop,
Discord?
On the Discord, you gotta hop in.
On
I
the
think he
F&B channel?
Yeah, he joined 2 days ago. Thanks for joining, Next. By the way,
dude, I can't keep up with the Discord.
It's
If there's
tough.
not like a mention of Rubbish Cook, I don't know where
You gotta
to look.
tag.
I don't
You
know
gotta
where to
tag
go.
Rubbish. You want her to see what's going on. You gotta add her so she gets a notification.
I need that notification in my inbox so I know where to look. Do you know what I mean? Because otherwise, I'm just out here reading Wikipedia. That's what I'm doing.
Next says it doesn't have to look edible, just be edible. That's true. That's your ethos.
Yeah, I don't think it has to be. I think the Instagram phenomenon of people who go out to eat and take a picture of their plate and it gets all cold, and the cook who's like watching them wait 20 minutes to eat their food, it's like, fuck you, just fucking eat it, it's ready, it's perfect, but they have to like take a perfect picture of it.
Megan and I have a lot of reels we want to do, and one of them was about the Instagram food.
Oh, but us like purposefully making it look like shit, or like smashing it, or like doing something.
Yeah, like spending eons crafting the perfect plate and then just pulling your pants down and farting on it. And
yeah. Smashing your butt cheeks into it and then taking the picture.
Yeah, it sucks sometimes being a female because our bodies have been so highly sexualized that you can't do funny stuff with your butt.
I think that should be part of our ethos, the like reclaiming our bodies. Like our bodies, we can do whatever we want with them, regardless of the male gaze or like the, you know, lesbian female gaze. We just want to smash our butts into
the
food.
infiltrating gaze.
the consumption gaze, the gaze who wants to own you and manipulate you. But like, fuck, just let us do it.
I've got a Batman tattoo on my butt.
I remember we were jumping in the bouncy house and you were wearing a dress and we were bouncing and you were like, oh, almost showed off my Batman tattoo.
It was important to me to get the dumbest thing I could get.
Wait, so it's like the bat sign?
I had to really sift through my connection to Batman because I grew up watching all the movies.
Yeah.
I just picked the Christopher
Michael
Nolan
Keaton
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I should have, looking back at it, I wish I would have gotten a tackier, like the Michael Keaton, the round jammer. I just got it out of the way.
Oh, wait, but yours was Val Kilmer. We've talked about our favorite Batmans before.
Dude, Val Kilmer is he is an elusive, mysterious character.
And persona, like in his real life.
Like when I rediscovered him and I found out he was on Instagram reciting scenes from Tombstone in his bathtub after he had
tracheotomy,
some sort of throat cancer, but he didn't believe in modern medicine, so he has a different kind of voice now. I just like fell in love, and there's a really sweet documentary about him and how good of an actor he was and how tough Hollywood is, and you know, he is still being our Huckleberry. It's true.
Speaking of modern medicine, we were just talking about allergies and how modern medical apparatus is not super informative when you go to them with an allergy issue.
We found out you're allergic to mice.
I'm allergic to mice. Okay, cool. And the food one was even worse. It was like peach, green pepper, and yeast. But like that, I don't know. I've never had reactions eating those things before. And I don't eat those things. Like yeast, yes. My follow-up question would be, is yeast still alive after you bake it into bread? And does it still affect you with its dead body?
I would assume blasting something that's microbial
with
with
425
heat,
degrees
it would
for
die.
25 minutes, it would die. So after all my itchiness and all of my what I thought was food reactions, whatever, inconclusive results from allergy tests. So I'm gonna try a
Shocking.
non-establishment approach.
Yeah, I don't think we had the microphones going, but my best friend at the time, Adam, couldn't eat meat, vegetables, fruit, bread, he couldn't eat anything. He was on a strict baby formula diet, and we would go to the Mayo Clinic as the Mayo Clinic desperately tried to figure out what was going on with him. And I was in the room when the doctor went, "Ooh, we don't know. We put you through the ringer. You shit in a bucket. You did all the things, and we still have no idea why.
We tasted your eye juice.
Eating anything. Yeah, we licked your pineal gland, your corneal gland, your corn quagmire gland, and we still can't figure it out. And so they gave up and sought alternative medicine, and I watched him eat food without having to go to the ER, which was a testament to ancient aliens.
To alternative medicine.
Movie Nature says, "Are you from Minnesota?" I am. I am from Northeast Minneapolis. Teresa said, guys, check out. Oh.
Hi, Teresa.
Hi, Teresa.
Hi, everybody.
Lane
But especially
Michelchrist
Teresa.
on our left right brain works.
What?
Teresa says, check out Lane Michelchrist on how our left/right brains work. He just had an interview on Unheard, and it was excellent.
That made me think of how a woman's brain, a female brain, has more verbal communication going on between the two hemispheres. Like the right and the left tend to communicate more, and the male brain doesn't. How do you think that affects our intersocial activities?
Heavily.
I don't know. We've talked about this before.
We were talking on the last podcast how you were
the male-female divide.
You were making big strides in understanding femininity more.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I feel comfortable with it. If I want to wear earrings, sometimes I will.
So is that what you read about in your brain book?
Sometimes we seek to adorn our face,
earlobes.
our face areas, draw attention to the face, the butt.
Shall we talk about our prospective weekends?
Yeah. Hit me with the motorcycle jam first.
Motorcycle jam.
Harleys in Mojave.
Dude, Mojave's fucking beautiful. I gotta make more of an effort to
tell me where that is again.
Spend my time in the desert. It is 2.5 hours north of LA. Northeast of LA. And I was nervous, right? Because I'm nauseous all the time. I'm heavily fatigued doing all the 3D human printer crap. And God, we've landed in LA. We got an Uber, and in the Uber I was like, "Oh, I need to swallow my vomit." We were in a Tesla, and there's it accelerates so fast that I was like, "Oh God, I don't want to puke in this car." And I didn't bring any like medicine with me. Yeah. Righteous, because I brought all the GoPros that don't work.
Shot.
I brought all the microphones.
Shot.
Go to the Harley Fleet Center, pick up a gigantic bagger. I'm nervous. I've only ridden one for 20 minutes, but I'm like, it'll be fine. I get on it and I instantly feel better. It's like the adrenaline and the dopamine. And we ride all the way up to Mojave, and it's just fucking.
You ride for 2.5 hours?
Yeah, we rode through the mountains too, and that's just so pretty, so beautiful. Yeah, we like cut through this mountain pass, and because being on the highway in LA is scary. I didn't think it'd be as scary as it was, and I didn't think that that would be the most dangerous part about being pregnant and riding off road, but it was. It was riding on the highway in LA. And we have a blast. Turns out though, I was supposed to have a Pan America all weekend, but when I get there, they're like, I didn't get that memo. And I was like, shh, did I just come out here for not being able to ride a bike? But after talking to them more, I think he was just trying to be, I don't know. They were like, okay, you can have it.
They were trying to be accommodating.
They were just being really stern. But then after we kind of cracked them open and like let them knew who we were, they opened up a little bit and were super nice. But
didn't they invite you out there?
It's such a gigantic fucking corporation that XYZ didn't hear from way up here. I mean, it's so massive that they just don't get the memo or whatever. So then I got to ride, and riding in the sand was a lot easier on the Pan America than any bike I've ever ridden. And so it was fun, but I wanted to tell you a scary story.
Oh, I'm scared. I'm glad you're sitting here in the flesh.
I'm here. I made
intact,
it. Sometimes I wonder if I died, and this is just the continuation.
This is Spirit Whitney?
This is Spirit Whitney, but I'll never know, and I guess it doesn't matter if if I died or not.
You ate a bagel, so
I ate a bagel. You saw me, so clearly it
ghosts can eat bagels, then that's fine.
Jake, Ben, and I. Ben is a friend of his, and he was out there on his Tuareg. We were gonna ride an hour to this really cool park where they shot like some of Star Trek because it feels like you're on Mars.
Yeah.
So we ride an hour out there, get there, and I'm starting to get hot because it's hot outside. But we tried to leave as early as we possibly could to get there. So we rip it, go there, film a video. That sun's moving quick though. Like I put my stuff in the shade, I came back, it's not in the shade anymore. Like that's how quickly it's moving. So Jake's like, let's go goof off now. And I'm like, I gotta go back to the entrance. I cannot goof off right now because it's starting to get really hot.
Did you explain to people what your condition is?
So I do not regulate body heat. I don't sweat.
Her body does not go back to equilibrium without assistance from the outside.
So the doctor said I have two options. You could bloodlet, cut myself open and get all the hot blood out. He's like, or you could dump cold water on yourself like an old radiator. So I had my cooling vest, I had a cooling gaiter, and I had a cooling do-rag, and I had my and I had my skin cancer umbrella, and it was all keeping me very cool. But when you're standing there, not moving, there's no wind or anything. So I'm like, Jake, this is a mistake. It's like, Jake, go rip it. Meet me at the entrance. I'll wait at the entrance for you. And it's 5 miles to the entrance. So I figured he would go goof off in that direction.
Right.
But we didn't communicate effectively because I'm assuming something and he's assuming something.
Got it.
So I'm on my way back to the entrance. I can't get the Pan America up because it's sunk really deep down in sand, this kickstand. So it's like super leaned over.
Oh, shit.
I would have an issue with any bike trying to pull it up because it's now, all the way the other way. I'm starting to panic and I like stop freaking out. I'm like, you got this. Like, take one pull, and I just like rip it up. I hop on it on one side and just get it going and then swing my leg over. I'm like, oh, okay, we got it. Okay, chill. So I start going to the entrance. I don't see either of them anywhere, and they're not on my cardo anymore.
Ooh.
And it's mirage, right?
Oh,
for miles. And I'm like, I thought I would see like a trail dust or a teeny little helmet or something. Nothing. I was like, fuck, okay. So I'm riding to the entrance and I'm worried I can't see them because I don't know where they went. And I get to the entrance, pop out the umbrella, and there were cars going, like if I had to guess, 6 or 7 miles an hour.
Why?
Like blasted by, I don't know. Like, what are you guys so afraid of? This is just, It's like sandy, silty, rocky.
Yeah.
Oh, it's flat. I don't know why you're going so slow. I blasted by them. I'm waiting for them now at the entrance because I'm going to ask them if they've seen anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also going to ask them for ice. Like, can I just have like a few ice cubes or whatever?
Yeah.
These people roll their window down and I could just tell they're weird. Obviously, they're driving so slow.
Yeah.
They're like, they're scared of me. They're like, yeah, is something wrong? And I'm like, oh, I just wanted to know if you've seen any other motorcycles out here. I've lost my friends, and I'm kind of nervous. And they're like, no.
Were they boys, girls?
An older couple. I don't know if like I got Mormon vibes. Like they don't talk to people. I don't know. Like, or they're aliens. I have no idea.
Yeah.
And I was like, also I have another strange request. You guys don't have like a few ice cubes you could spare, right? And they just stare at me and I'm just like, okay.
Ice.
Cold. She goes, well, you have water. I was like, yes, I have water, but I was just wondering if you had some ice. He turns around, looks in the back of his car, looks at me, and he goes, it's keeping our food cold. We can't spare any. And I was like, yeah, I would assume if I'm asking you for ice, it's because you've got a cooler and you're keeping your...
Holy guacamole.
I was like, okay, whatever.
We can't spare any ice.
I stand there for 10, 15 minutes. I'm starting to get hot.
Oh, no.
Starting to get like, I get like a crazy heat migraine. And I'm like, okay, I gotta go. We gotta leave. I'm like, where the fuck did Jake go? I'm just like, dude, come on. I tried.
Cell phones don't work out there?
What does?
Cell phone?
His didn't, mine did, thankfully. But I also was like taking note of how we got out there so that I could remember how to get back. I had to leave him. And I was like looking, I was like, I wish I could write in the sand like Whitney went back.
She couldn't wait for your dumb ass.
Whitney went back. So I just rode by myself through the desert and I kept having intrusive thoughts about getting a flat tire or crashing or hitting. There was like sheep and there's all sorts of crazy shit to run over. But I could like feel my dad partying with me and I'm like, okay, they're here. It's fine. I saw 2 gnarly wrecks, like to where I think the people died and then they just left the shit there.
What?
People drive crazy in the desert. I think because there's just no one out there.
Open expanse.
Like, oh God. And then it's just like one mistake and you're
Was it a car wreck or a motorcycle wreck?
Car wreck. I also saw Jake run over a rattlesnake and the snake didn't die all the way and I hated that.
Aww.
Yeah, I was like, no, can we help it?
Help it die at least.
Can we turn it in? Yeah, could just go in reverse.
Yeah, I can't imagine like being almost dead and then dying the rest of the way under the sun.
Anyways, I made it back and Jake was like, no, I went to the opposite side of the park. And I'm like, why? Did you think I was going to go hang out at the entrance for 45 minutes just chilling in the sun? And then he went to the nearest gas station because he thought if I was hot, that's where I would go. And I was like, no, dude, I'm not going to take any chances of like assuming you would understand where I went, you know. But yeah, that was my one, like just standing there and you don't hear anything.
The worst part is the only people who could have helped you refused.
Isn't that funny?
They were like, we cannot give this biker chick a few pieces of ice. It will make us die out here.
In the desert, and it's clear that they're out there having fun or whatever. What do you need? What do you need? I got it. But Jake was saying that the people in the town, because they went to the gas station to look for me, he was like, they wouldn't let us use a phone. They wouldn't tell us the Wi-Fi password.
Why is there that? I guess like Hell's Angels, like motorcycle gangs, have made this like crazy reputation for
we're on
bikers.
$15,000 bikes, and we're just out here in the Lux, the creme de la creme crowd of ADV riding.
They probably thought you had a switchblade and you were gonna slit their throats.
He was speculating
steal
that
their
it was
car.
more of like a hills have eyes sort of scenario where like the hill people don't want, they don't want to talk to you or hear you, or they just don't interact with people very often. I don't know. It's just like a different kind of crowd on there.
Yeah, it's wild because it's like a national park where tourists go all the time, I imagine.
Yeah, there was a ton of parks out there.
That sucks. I wish them the best, but also fuck them.
No, it's keeping our food cool. I'm like, yeah, that's why I assumed you had ice machine, one of those that you plug into your fucking cigarette lighters, and
Good God.
I wanted to be like, I'll Venmo you. Like,
Yeah,
I'll pay you for it.
I'll give you a piece of collateral if you're
What do
afraid.
you want?
I'm really glad you survived.
Me too. And then the ride home was absolutely terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. I thought it was gonna be easy and fun and like whatever, and it was there's there was a wind warning. So
Oh, no.
30-mile-an-hour winds. And then I had a dual sport helmet on. So it's just like so stressful because the helmet's catching and my head is just shaking and I can't see. And then there's signs everywhere that are like, caution, it's windy. And I'm like, yeah. And then you finally get out of the desert and then you get into the valley. And then it's like even windier, but now you're way high up in the mountains. Just like
Getting blown off the mountainside.
and everybody's cutting you off and everybody's running into you and like so many people like almost merged into me, and Jake's telling me to pick up the speed because just to get out of there, and I'm like, no, like I'm already so distracted by all these unpredictable drivers that and there was like 2 motorcycles that zipped by us, but they're lane splitting. They're going in between. So I want to fucking low ride. I was like, I don't want to do it. It's not my bike. I don't like this sucks.
Yeah, I'm glad that you trusted your intuition in those instances because that's what's going to save you.
Yeah, I need a large margin of error here. And if I'm going to ride a mountain road, I don't know that has traffic, wicked traffic on it. I'm not risking it. And then we hit LA and it's gridlock, right?
Mhm.
And it's a downpour.
Oh, no.
And Jake is like, Whitney, we have to lane filter. And I'm like, no. I get it. Yes, we absolutely have to do that. Otherwise, I'm going to miss my flight.
Yeah.
And when you're lane filtering, we were in the carpool lane and regular lane. There's 3 strips of paint, and paint is notoriously really slick.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't have a choice. So I was just like riding on the paint. It wasn't as slick as I thought it was, but my horn didn't work. So Jake would go, people would move out of the way, Jake would go, and then they'd immediately come back together. So I was like, oh shit.
Oh, no.
And it's pouring rain. I've got my goggles on and I'm just like trying to wipe my goggles, wipe the rain. Everybody's almost crashing into me. I was laughing and I wanted to cry because
Yeah.
it was so miserable. I had to pee the whole time.
No.
I pictured Abe Simpson when they look at his x-ray and they say his kidneys
are both exploded. Oh, no.
And then
You didn't just let it rip because it wasn't your bike?
I thought about just peeing my pants because I was like, that'll be way easier. But it's hard psychologically as you're maneuvering through traffic to like pee, but also not die. I'm sure it just takes practice.
Yeah. Gee
And I didn't
whiz.
have, it would have been so much more grounding to have the map. Right,
Uh-huh.
but Jake has it on his navigation system.
So you're locked on him visually, like trying to follow
I'm
him.
like, we got 10 minutes left, 40, 50. Like, I need to know so that I can psychologically keep it together.
Right.
I just need to know that there's an end. My gas light comes on.
What else could happen? Good God.
I'm starving. And then that guy almost crashes into me, but gets immediately pulled over because the cop saw what happened, which was so tight. And then get to the place. I pee. Oh my God.
So triumphantly.
Oh my God. I was like, this is heaven. This is heaven on earth.
Yeah.
Just getting to pee in a toilet when you haven't got to pee for 2 hours and 40 minutes. I come out of the bathroom and Jake is like, prepare your Angus. And I'm like, why? And he's like, get on the fucking bike. We're going to get you to the airport. And I was like, oh shit. And the Harley guy was like, we don't allow passengers. I was like, dude, this is an emergency. I need to catch my fucking flight. I wanted to be home yesterday. I don't want to be here anymore.
So you rode with Jake on his bike?
So I hop on the back, which I haven't ridden on the back of a motorcycle in like 11 years. I was like, what do I hang on to? Your eyelids?
You're like holding on to his hair.
Boom, boom.
You pulling him left and right and shit.
Dude, and I was like, Jake, just be careful. I trust you with my life, but please just be careful. We just fucking because the traffic is crazy, and it would have taken 3 times as long in a fucking
Was that his
Uber.
Bushido training coming through?
That must have been his Kendo Bushido
He
training
was like,
coming
I
through.
will get this person who I care about deeply to her flight on time.
LAX has 9 terminals.
Yikes.
That's a lot.
You have to take like shuttles around to the different terminals, right?
Yes. That was the most stressful ride I've ever done. I've ridden a lot of places, but that
I feel
was
like
the
I
most
can
stressful
finally
ride I've
breathe
ever
now
done.
that the story's over. What are your takeaways?
I don't think I'll ever fly into LAX ever again, as long as I live, unless it's worth my time. I also learned that we did a lot of motorcycle trips at Yami Noob, and I just don't like being at the mercy of some other entity. I'm like past that in my age. I want to just facilitate what's happening. So I think going forward, that's gonna be the move.
I think you could plan a really dope motorcycle trip.
Just not because in order for us to go off road, we had to go get the baggers and get dressed up in our ADV gear and then ride the baggers off road to the off roading place and then go to the HD truck and then go get the bike and then the bike had to be back at a certain and it was just like, wow, you know how much easier this would be if I had a fucking truck and my bike and then I could just go do the thing and like not have to jump through all these hoops, which was exhausting.
To say the least.
To say the least. I haven't looked at the chat. That was a long story. Thanks for sticking with me.
Shit, doggy. That's nuts. I did acid this weekend.
I know you did, baby. And you were messaging me when I was like, I was busy, but I also just wanted to let you do the acid and I didn't want to infiltrate your fucking. Do you want to tell the ladies and gentlemen what Eeyore's birthday is?
Yes. So for almost 60 years, Austin has held this festival that's in celebration of Eeyore's birthday. So I guess there was a couple of college kids back in the 60s who were studying A.A. Milne or whoever the person was who wrote Winnie the Pooh. And they wanted to fuck off from school one day and they decided to go drink beer in the park and celebrate Eeyore's birthday, hopefully cheering him up. And it became a big charity event. So like entities would drop big kegs in the park for the party and people would donate and then all the money would go to charity and like it was just a big party with like drum circles and costumes and you just go
Psychedelics.
Yeah, you just go and like party in whatever way you want to party, but you kind of like I think the ethos is like party and party hard, but watch out for the herd. Like you're supposed to like have this sort of communal attitude about it. You're like looking out for everybody else who's tripping too. And
your fucking Instagram reel, I was like in stitches this morning. I was just like, yes.
It was so wild.
It looked packed.
There were so many people there. It was insane.
There's like every 5 inches, there's somebody blasted out of their mind.
Yeah, and I think that's a big part of the party, but it was my least favorite part of the party, like how many people were constantly streaming by us. Like it was great for people watching, and John Paul had a chair. Him and Aaron had chairs, so they were sitting in chairs watching with their backs to a tree, but I was like on the ground and people were like walking over me and it was like I'm on acid. Like I kept on wanting to eat, but every time I would like start eating and then I'd be like I guess I don't want to eat. This is kind of uncomfortable. But I would like get up and like dance around because I heard like the drums coming from different directions. And so Aaron went a few times as a student at UT. And then last year he went and, did the drug thing, but was not prepared to like eat or drink, like thought that he could buy anything he needed in the park, but the food choices were very slim. And so this time we like made a ton of sandwiches. We brought potato salad and pimento cheese and crackers and Pringles and oranges and cookies and so much water and all this stuff. So we were set, and it was wild. Like in the morning there was like a lot of kids and a lot of dogs wearing costumes, and like um it sort of felt like a Ren fair or something. Like it felt very whimsical and like fantastic. And then as the hours, trudged on throughout the day, it became more and more like clubby, and like more and more half naked and like naked people would show up. And then you would see like people who kind of looked like predators who were just like watching like very intently, like all the half naked women. And
You mean all the sexual repression and the inability to express
like
themselves
men
sexually?
who were just like,
yeah, who haven't been given the social tools to
don't know how to handle other people's nudity. And
that's gross.
it was interesting because
Don't
the
like that.
section that we landed in was like near the beginning of this long, like 100 porta potty long line.
Ew.
It was near that. It was in the shade, so we were like under a tree. But I called it like the catatonic dad zone because there was several groups of dads around us who were just like posted up with their camping chairs, and they were drinking so much beer. I don't know what else they were on. They were like passing around joints like everybody else was too. But they were in such a state of stupor that
how many guys did you find that are gripping like the tree or the pole? Because
there were a couple of people.
They found the thing that is stable.
There was a little clip in the reel that I made where the guy's
you
like,
always see that. They need the thing. You need to
shit.
find your anchor when you're on drugs. That'll just never let you down. And it's usually a pole or a tree.
There was a cool realization that I made. Because I was afraid I haven't done acid. I've done acid once prior to this experience. And I was in high school. It was just one hit. It was just one hit back then too. I was in high school. I was with my friends, David. We called them by their last names. And we all did acid together, and it was a beautiful, pleasant experience. I remember like looking up in the direction of the sun and like understanding the truth of like being alive and being a living thing. And then this time I was afraid to do it because when I did it back then, I had my boyfriend David to like watch over me and make sure that I didn't do anything stupid.
You had a sitter.
Basically, he was on acid too, but he was like with it enough to like make sure I didn't die. And this time I didn't feel like I had anybody to like watch out for me, and I was worried that I was going to get into some kind of situation that I couldn't handle. But I found that I was actually watching out for other people. And this woman, she was bare-breasted. She had like a flower crown on and like this long skirt and like this glittery makeup and stuff. And she was wandering around by herself. And I remember being like, "Hey, are you okay?" Because she looked like she was about to start crying.
Aww.
And I was like, "Are you okay? Do you need anything?" And I'm like tripping, and she's probably tripping.
God, kudos every time. I've done a lot of acid. I have never gone in public.
It was wild. And I was like, "Do you need anything?" And she was like, I just need some water."
Aww.
And I was like, "We have water." And I opened the cooler and I got her some water. And she was like, "Thank you so much." And she just like went on her way. But I was really proud that in that instance, I was like, "Oh, I'm good."
You were realizing
Like
your own
I'm
power.
actually good, and I can take care of myself. And I like went off on my own to use the restroom, whereas the first time I went with Aaron, and I didn't really want to walk around by myself, but I was like, I strapped on my pack and I was like, "I'll be back, you guys." And I like went off on my own, and
fuck yeah,
it felt really like empowering to be able to do that.
You're like, this whole time
I was like, wait, what was I so afraid of happening? Like, I'm good. I can handle this. And that was like a huge step, I feel, in my...
Did you make it to the bathroom?
Yep.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And I hovered over the seat.
Yes,
like
as we all do.
Never let your butt cheeks touch the seat in the porta potty. And Emma and Madeline showed up.
Oh, cool.
And they weren't tripping, but
I figured since you had a clip of her eating a turkey leg that I was like, you're definitely not tripping.
Right, yeah.
Because nobody wants to eat a turkey leg when they're on
when we
acid.
first got there, John Paul saw somebody, like a ton of people, like eating turkey legs, and he was like, I want a turkey leg. And then when Aaron and I were walking around, I was like, your husband wants a turkey leg. So we went and
You got to
waited
feed
in
your
line.
husband, my guy.
And then Emma came to where we were like camped out, and she was like, oh, I really wanted a turkey leg, but just like a bite of one. And I pulled John Paul's out of the cooler, and I was like, you can have a bite of his. And Madeline like braided all of our hair, and it was sweet. Overall, a positive experience. The next day I was really, really tired and sad and lonely, and I was crying, and
the down
it was
of doing
like
drugs.
a huge, like I was like, Lucas texted me and was like, do you want to come to this barbecue show, hang out with Ruby? And I was like, I wish, but I got to teach a class tonight and I need to lay low before I go do that. And I did it, and I didn't die.
No, the day after, there's something you can take called 5-HTP that's supposed to help the depletion of all of the fucking...
like serotonin and dopamine and stuff.
Yeah, it's supposed to help you.
But I also realized on a very personal note that the struggle with loneliness is like incredibly necessary. And it's like something that I've been running away from my entire life.
Yeah, I remember us having a talk about, I don't like to sit and preach the things that I've been through because everybody's so different, but it's like, I went through that before I met Lucas. Like, no. Like, nobody, if you're not up here, fuck you, get the fuck out of my way.
Yeah,
and I offended a lot of people, but you also see how rapey people are. And I had a really high standard because I was fucking sick of it. I was so sick of it. But I was alone. And it's really lonely. But like, I truly embraced it. And I remember telling you that, and then you would kind of come over and you're like, I love being alone. And I'm like, you're not there yet.
You're not alone.
You were also alone for like a week, and then you'd find someone else. Because it is so hard, in your 20s to just face it instead of running from it, distracting yourself from it. Face it. A lot of people in our society don't face anything. They either build walls from it, or we're in...
And I think another aspect of it, without coming off as like conceited, you're an attractive person, I am an attractive person. It's really easy for me to find someone else who wants to fuck around with me.
Sure.
And all throughout my life, I've just gone from this person who wanted to fuck around with me to the next person who wanted to fuck around with me. And I never knew, like, I was never really discerning about, to use a Whitney vocabulary word, discerning about who I would choose to allow into my company, because I loved having company.
And it was fun.
It's fun. And like, not to disparage the people I've been with in the past, because I think they all had really great qualities.
Great.
They had great qualities.
They had great qualities.
And I enjoyed my time with them. But I think this stage of my life is definitely about being good to be alone. Actually good. Actually really good.
Not proclaiming how good it is.
Not saying like, oh, I love it, it's the best, and then like going and crying when I'm actually by myself.
Flowing with it, accepting it, breaking your heart open, not jonesing for the next hit. Notorious Ninja. No, Nitrous Ninja. Notorious Nitrous Ninja says Jimi Hendrix declared at the end of his life that drugs change who you really are and shouldn't be used by anyone. There's a lot to say about that. I would not be the patient, empathetic, high-functioning person because of the traumatic childhood I grew up in if I didn't do all the psychedelic therapy. I wasn't doing drugs and going to a concert. I wasn't doing drugs and going to a party. I was doing drugs, blindfolding myself, and laying on the fucking floor and witnessing all the shit that came up. And waking up the next day and for the first time in my life, seeing who I really was without all the trauma. not everybody's going to have that experience at all. I really think too, Lucas has had quite a few people in the ER who, there was this one that made me feel so bad. Two kids, two teenagers, they did acid. They live in some fucking Westlake mansion. Parents were out of town. One of the kids freaks out that the other kid is trying to fuck him. I'm not fucking gay, bro, and whatever, and like has like this total mental breakdown. And I wish instead of bringing people to the ER when you're high on drugs, it's like, hey, we're gonna send a bunch of like figured, sequenced, masked cloak people to calm the situation. And let's talk about what sexual trauma is coming up, because clearly something's coming up. And those things, there's a difference between a bad trip and there's a difference between a hard trip. Hard trips are where all the stuff starts bubbling to the surface that scare you. A bad trip is when, there's so many factors, whether it's heat exhaustion or maybe you have a lineage of mental illness and something else is happening. That's definitely a possibility. But
how, in those hard trips, in the instance where all of your trauma is just surfacing, how do you steel yourself against that just washing over you and taking control?
The biggest thing, so I was a monthly donor for years and years to the Multidisciplinary Association for Psychedelic Studies, and I desperately want to they were like, everybody thinks this is fun until you're in the Zendo tent at Burning Man. And the Zendo tent is the tent for people who are having hard trips. They send all the people who are freaking out in there. People who are shitting themselves, people who are vomiting, people who are screaming, people who are like, they're like, if you can't withstand that or know how to navigate those trenches, psychedelic science is not for you. And I've always wanted to do that because I really like
go to that tent and help people chill.
Yeah. They need to bring more of they had an incident that happened where somebody died because she was overexhausted. She was having a heat stroke and they were like throwing blankets on her.
Why?
I don't know. Because they need to bring nurses and paramedics in my opinion, because getting dehydrated is a really real risk when you're doing drugs in the middle of nowhere. But the big thing too, somebody close to us, I have sat for that as well. And I thought, this is gonna be fun. It's gonna be great. Like, I know how to do this. She had a fucking bad time. And I was like, this is what they're talking about. It's not all fucking sunshines and rainbows. Not everybody has it together once they start altering their brain chemistry. And I just held her hand. And it was like I felt like it was 1890 and she was giving birth and I don't have a fucking epidural or know how to deliver a baby, but like I just had to sit with her and you keep trying to like, let's go outside. I promise you everything will be so much better outside. She wouldn't move. And I was like, okay, I have to accept this. Like, I'm not going to force you outside and I'm not going to try to convince you and I don't want to spend time convincing you. And if that's not what you want to do, then if you want to make it this hard, I have to embrace that you want to make it this hard.
It was really helpful to like lay down on my back and look up into the trees and see all the like scintillating leaves and stuff. Like I could still hear all the commotion, but to see the leaves and like notice all like the tributary capillary action of the
anytime shit got
too
that's not always true, because sometimes I really didn't want to go outside. But if you're just outside, like you can just, everything feels better. I remember once tripping balls. Oh God. I think towards the end we were doing 3 or 4 hits, like losing yourself.
That's insane.
And that's where I saw some spiritual shit. And I lost my body.
Wow.
We turned on the TV and we knew that commercials were going to freak us out. So we were desperately trying to get to like, the History Channel thing that we wanted to watch. And it was a montage of all these like obese people like,
oh no.
And I was like, no. And then of course Lucas and I are like inches from the TV and it's just like fat people opening up the fridge and they're like, don't you want another piece? And of course, since you're on acid, it's like slow and distorted, and we're like, "Is this a Saturday Night Live skit? What is this?" And they're like, "Now you don't need surgery. Take a pill, pill, pill."
Oh shit.
And I was like, "No, this can't be real." Lucas, turn it off. And he's like, "What is it?" It's like a fucking for-profit medication to
Yeah.
make you less hungry or whatever.
Oh.
And I was like, "The people are hungry. All they want is food." And
Let
I'm
them
like
eat.
sobbing. And I like in my Hunter S. Thompson, I'm like typing the name of the medication. And the first link that pops up is them celebrating their 150,000th prescription. And like my
Jeez.
heart broke for all the people who struggle with food because
Yeah.
I was like, a pill?
But it's just another type of addiction, right?
I don't know. I was just like sobbing and upset, and I felt bad, and I just wanted everybody to eat whatever they wanted. And
Right.
I could feel the emotional suppression. Like,
Yeah.
oh God, TV's the worst when you're on acid because it's just like,
I feel yeah, any kind of uncontrolled media stream that's just like flowing out, you never like it's very unpredictable and you don't know how you're gonna react to it as it comes out. And it could be anything, like anything could pop out.
Yeah, the new rule, because the last time Lucas and I did our new drug of choice is MDMA because it is not, they say acid cuts the diamond, MDMA polishes it because it's just way it's a fucking therapy drug. It's called ecstasy,
Ecstasy.
The new rule is no phones. Turn all the phones off. No
Mhm.
phones, no TV, no nothing.
Would you look at books?
Yeah, I've got a series of books, but we put out the air mattress tent
Oh yeah.
outside.
I wonder if there are any books that are made with the specific purpose of being looked at when you're tripping or when
I
you're on
should go grab one.
Oh shit.
I won't. We're running out of time, but I have a Salvador Dali 3D book.
Oh.
Like it's huge and it pops out at you. And I had a really bad trip, but it was the trip hard, I should say. I had a really hard trip, but it was the trip that made me want to be a mother because I didn't like kids. I didn't want kids, but Lucas did. And I knew that I had a lot of shit to go through in order to get to the other side,
Yeah.
to want to procreate. And I was like, Lucas, it's like I've read all the manuals. I've read all the bad trip manuals. I fucking studied this. I went to school for it. And I looked at him and I was like, I'm having a hard time. I'm having a really hard time because I was physically very ill. Mushrooms, a lot of people can have bad physical reactions because they're allergic to the flesh.
Mm-hmm.
And Lucas is like, okay. And he goes and grabs the Salvador Dali book. And I'm like, yes, read to me. Please read to me. Suddenly I was comforted by these like
melting clocks.
Yeah, it's like the book understood me. I understood the book.
Elephants on stilts.
Yeah, it's just like, oh yeah, there's people. Oh yeah, get the Huxley book out, please.
Yeah, gee whiz. Transformative weekend, no?
Transformative weekend. Let's Nick says he's waiting for a call from a psychiatrist to try mushroom therapy for drug-resistant depression. Lucas actually had treatment-resistant depression and was desperately trying with acid and psilocybin. So if you could maybe switch to but what really changed his relationship with depression was MDMA.
Psilocybin is mushroom, right?
Mm-hmm. There are lots of trials for MDMA that what I've noticed with people who suffer with anxiety and depression, the MDMA was a really good, but also try whatever. I mean, if you're on that path, but just as my personal experience to see my husband alter his relationship with depression and OCD and anxiety, it was MDMA. He also self-administered ketamine, and that didn't go so well.
Oh shit.
It didn't go very well. But it wasn't done by a professional. So hard to say if
I
that
know
would be
ketamine
effective or not.
therapy is being used more and more often to treat severe depression.
It's a lot easier legally right now to have access to. I really think MDMA should be legal in a year or two. It really got fast tracked, so stay tuned
What is
for
it?
that. Well, let's look before I make a fool of myself.
I don't think you would make a fool of yourself. MDMA had me feeling like a champion. City never sleep, better slip you an Ambien.
It acts by increasing the activity of the neurotransmitters serotonin, dopamine, and noradrenaline. It is in the amphetamine family.
Mm.
It is a stimulant,
So it makes you happy.
a phosphate group, a sugar group, and one of the 4 types of nitrogen bases.
It must be one
Wait,
of
that's
those
DNA. Why did that come up for MDMA? Stupid Google.
deoxyribonucleic
You
acid.
got it.
But I figure just like any other drug, you're like left feeling kind of weary and worn and empty afterwards, right?
Yeah, because you're
Because it like forces all of
Well,
your happy stuff to go at once.
MDMA is one of those drugs where you do a little bit and you're like, I need way more because it makes
Oh,
you
shit.
feel so good.
Yeah.
It makes you feel so good. And then you do too much and then you got, the
How do
next
you
day is a
quantify
bummer.
too much? Is it like in the experience or in the after experience that it's too much?
Both. When Lucas and I are licking the plate it was on, you're like,
okay, cool it. Oh, I've always had such an aversion to drugs that aren't weed or like, I don't know. I've done mushrooms a couple of times, but my brother's experience with opiates, I've never really been curious about trying MDMA or any other like synthetic kind of druggy pill drug thing.
LSD is synthetic.
Oh, I don't know. I did once in high school and I did once this weekend. Like I don't really fuck around with it very often.
Yeah, I think if you grow up in I went to a Catholic high school on a science scholarship and I was told that I was going to die. That if I did drugs, I would die. I was like really brainwashed, but Lucas was really adamant that I at least try it.
Mm.
And then my inclination was to do it in a therapeutic setting. And I don't think that that's a first inclination for a lot of people.
Right.
That bath salts are bad. Yes.
Confirmed.
Yeah,
bath salts are synthetic. Are they considered a stimulant? Don't they make people want to eat other people's faces or something?
I feel like it's like so hard if the news is saying that what's actually happening, but maybe Full Metal can elaborate on us. Chasing Ghost says, my parents were hippies. I've often wondered if my mind is how it is because of the exposure to acid and weed in the womb, along with being born without hearing and then being able to hear. I wonder if your parents were smoking weed and doing acid, if they were drinking, because drinking heavily affects hearing in babies. That would be if they're doing those things, they're probably kind of doing all sorts of other stuff.
I'm glad I didn't have any beer at the yours thing. I love the taste, but it just wrecks me so hard.
Water, Gatorade,
yeah,
electrolytes.
It's what plants crave.
Full Metal. No. Neither of you. No. My dogs want to marry Megan. I don't know if you guys know that.
He's my husband.
Nick has asked, did you get to hang out with Jen? You know what sucks is she was barely there. So all the Revzilla hosts were leading big rides. And since I didn't have a bike that I could be like, hey, is it cool if I take this out all day? I didn't get to go ride with them. And I really wish that I did. But I definitely know that was not my last time going to that. I'd like to maybe go next year because I was already thinking, we came up with a name for the baby. Do you want to hear it?
What is it?
Lydia.
I love it.
Lydia Amadeus.
Oh shit.
um,
That's beautiful and perfect.
yes.
I love it.
So I was like, okay, if I come out here next April, Lydia will be November, December, January, February, March, April, 6 months old. You're like, yeah. I was just like,
do you know what the name of my Tumblr was?
what?
Lydia Chlamydia.
What the fuck?
That was my Tumblr name.
Oh.
That's beautiful. I love that name.
Lucas really liked Amadeus for a boy's name, but I just didn't. I felt like it was too righteous to be the first name of any of my kids, or just like the boy is of God, but the girl is Ruby. But as a middle name, I think Lydia means, what is it? Noble lady of kings. Lightus.
Amadeus was Bach's middle name, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a good movie.
No, wait, that's Johann Sebastian Bach. Wait, who's Amadeus?
Who's
Mozart.
Amadeus?
Mozart.
Wolfgang Puck.
Amadeus. Mozart.
Wolfgang Puck, who now has a restaurant in every Macy's.
Rock me, Amadeus. Dun, dun, dun. Amadeus, Amadeus, Amadeus. Amadeus, Amadeus, Amadeus. Oh, 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 Amadeus.
Oh, speaking of Revzilla hosts, which one came up to me? Zach Quartz. He's a motorcycle hosty man. He's like, hey, wee. And I was like, Whitney, what's your name? He's like, it's Zach. I was like, oh. They were all so involved in riding. I think it'd be worth every penny to go out there and go ride with them, because they were actively digging everybody out, taking people on. They were going on beginner rides, expert rides. They were doing all of them. D, I swear to God.
He took it easy. He took it really easy. Dude, I'm hungry.
What you gonna eat?
I don't know. I don't know yet, but I'm very hungry.
Teresa says, is it a shout out to your great great grandma? Do I have a Lydia? I must. This one won't be Hazelmeyer. Next says I should go to Arby's.
Beef and cheddar, baby.
Beef and cheddar. There's a barbecue ramen spot by our house, and they have essentially barbecued roast beef and queso sliders.
You are in a daze.
They're so good.
I like their pimento cheese.
Barbecue Tatsuya's pimento cheese?
Mm-hmm. I forget what makes it different. It comes with celery sticks.
Oh, yummy.
But I don't hate it.
It's hard to find pimento cheese down here that isn't fucking sweet. Why is it sweet? What do you put in yours again? Or what's the quintessential Aaron? It's
shredded ched, chili flakes, mayo, fucking cream cheese, salt.
It's salty and spicy. It's not sweet.
It's salty and spicy. It's not sweet. It's not sweet.
Teresa says Lydia was the spiritualist who was sold sheep to her husband. I'm guessing she was sold 4 sheep. Yes, sold 4 sheep.
Like that was the dowry,
yeah.
or
must have been.
Wait, dowry Teresa, is what the parents of the bride give along with her?
Teresa, was this in like quintessential Hazelmeyer, Ohio, where this happened? I'm not exactly sure where 4 generations ago was. When are we doing the fucking pickled cheeseburger jammer?
When are we doing it?
When are we doing it?
When are we doing it?
I don't have my calendar on me.
Here, I have a calendar.
Yes, it was in Ohio.
Amadeus. Do you want to do it on Wednesday the 10th? Or Monday the 8th? Or Tuesday the 9th?
Well, let's figure it out after this. And we'll get, how many people on the stream want to join us in this journey? I know Full Metal and Mrs. Full Metal are going to join us. Whom else? I saw somebody had it came up on my Instagram feed because Instagram is listening.
Yeah.
But the pickle was the main thing. I don't want. Oh wait, no.
It's people keep
I want
comparing it to a Scotch egg, but
I want the pickle to be the main thing.
it's
The burger was the main thing. There was something flipped. I want the pickle to be the main thing, right?
yeah, the
that's what we
pickle
talked
should be
about.
the main thing.
That's like the hot, salty.
That's
Fucking-
what we want because it's a
That's what I
crunch.
want,
It's a juicy
yes.
crunch, and it's just complemented by the meat and the cheese and the.
Next wants to know what we're doing. Okay, we want people. I want a pickle that has beef, cheese, and then batter and fried.
Yeah.
And then we dip it in a mustard aioli.
Yes.
And then everybody can, pickle burger corn dog.
Yes, but there's no corn or dog, but it's that shape because pickle.
Pickle burger, yeah. And then
Pickle burger.
you guys submit your little videos, short videos, maybe just like quick clips, and then we'll watch them.
42-minute video.
42-minute
swing
videos.
it.
Yeah, we'll watch it when we get home. He will. That's how you know it's time to end the thing. To end the jamma.
Have you reached the end of your rope, darling?
I've reached the end of my rope.
Thank you all for paying attention to our discussion.
I thought I had a Discord announcement, but maybe I don't. I wish I could turn the webcam around so that you guys could see Lucas snacking on an apple.
Snacking hort.
Snacking hort.
Snacking hort. Lucas, we love you. Your Discord is here for you. He's not interested in the camera.
No. Any closing bits? What a good weekend, a transformative weekend.
Truly.
I made it back, or at least I'm under the impression that I made it back.
I'm pretty sure
If anybody
you're
could
here.
quantify or prove to me the reality that I'm currently living, that would be great.
Seeing as we both exist and you exist to us.
But I don't know that.
Descartes. I think, therefore I am.
All right.
Cogito
Well, then I'm
ergo
alive.
sum. Cogito ergo cum.
Tom Fitz, you made it just in time to say goodbye.
Bye.
There's been a couple of those people who are like, I made it. I'm like, they knew I was signing off.
Okay, bud. Thank you so much. I'm gonna go eat a bunch of peaches and green peppers and yeast
And mice.
and fucking
I'm gonna
mice.
go lick a mouse.
Bye. Te quiero mucho.
Bye.
Bye.